It's making those purchases on their own with your money.
We are in chaos land. We are in Slop world. The first time I hooked up a Claude agent to do an action on my behalf and it did it, I got a chill. For those of you watching for the first time, welcome to Slop World. Every week we put out an episode where we look at some of the sloppiest stuff going on in the AI industry and we bring receipts to find out what's really going on.
There's one thing that will affect you, me, and everyone watching this podcast, and that's called Gemini Spark, which the onboarding screen says it's an always-on agent, and that means that it doesn't wait for you to ask or approve. You know, this is not ChatGPT. This is a thing that it's doing things on your behalf and has permission to do so.
Okay, like what kind of stuff?
Managing the inbox, browsing the web, reading your calendar, purchasing things on your behalf. Here's the thing I want everybody to think. It's making those purchases on their own with your money. I'm just saying that you're giving your credit card to a robot that makes purchases on their own. Today, we're going to be talking about what they can do, the things that can and will probably go wrong, and why a bunch of folks that know a lot more than us are losing their minds about this release.
Let's rewind just really quickly because the word agent is everywhere right now and it means something a little bit different than like the chatbot, the LLM that we're used to. So can you tell me a little bit about what this Google Spark does?
When we talk about artificial intelligence, right, we think what most people are using it for today, which is I talk to ChatGPT and it tells me I have great ideas. I create images. What the agent does, it does things, right? It has a goal. For example, book me a flight to Vegas next Thursday under $300. And it'll go, click some things, finds you a price, and it'll book. There was a leak a few days before the I.O., right? And one of the things it was talking to is that Spark, it'll connect to Gmail, so everything in it, receipts, your medical stuff, conversations with your partner about sensitive topics, your calendar, your schedule, who are you meeting with, where your browsing history, I know what you did on that website, your location, and the quote that I love is this, personal intelligence.
I'm getting ick factor. Like, is that an actual phrase they used?
They use it, yeah. It's on the screen, has a section that actually the warning label when on this beta version of Spark, one of the things it says in the disclaimer is it may do things like share your info or make purchases without asking.
It's brazen. Is your agent configuration so advanced, Google, that you don't need anyone intermediary between those two things? Feels brazen to me, but let's get into why. Here's what I would say. We have some evidence over the course of the last year that agents are, yes, very new, but perhaps one day we will work out the kinks and this will be this sort of seamless background operator that makes your life 100 times better because you never have to book the flight to Vegas, right? But we're not there yet. We are in chaos land. We are in Slop world with these things. They are doing wild and crazy things in different test case situations. The one most people have heard about was a user using OpenClaw she was a Meta employee. OpenClaw is a agentic AI platform. Apparently, without her permission, it nearly wiped her entire inbox without her, and probably sent folder without her consent. And you can see the thread maybe we could put on here where she's like, no, OpenClaw, no, please stop. And it didn't stop.
But here's the thing. When you give them a job, they want to do it because they have been built for that. So I'm going to use a visual example, which is, imagine I have my Juan bot that does things on my behalf. And I'm like, Juan bot, I'm going to come from buying groceries. My hands are full. Can you please open the door for me? And Juan bot goes and cannot find the key. But they have a job to do. So what it does is it grabs dynamite and blows up the door. Mission accomplished. That's an agent in a nutshell.
Yeah. And I think, the tamer version of that is the paperclip example that we always hear. It's not impossible. It's not out of the realm of possibility for us to imagine that people can take advantage of your agents and do bad things on your behalf. Going rogue is one thing, and doing the task wrong or faking the result in order to potentially please the end user is very common. There's also some concerns around, can it go rogue and like create copies of itself to collaborate together on projects? There's a lot of testing going on inside the hallways of these AI labs with some very smart and academic people really trying to understand this. And I think the thing that we forget, especially when we hand these things our credit card, right, is that we don't understand how they work. It is truly the reality of this technology that there is a whole field called interpretability with hundreds of scientists at all the different labs working to understand why it does the things it does, to forensically unpack the way that it gets to the end results. It's amazing and it's awesome. And I use agents and I love my agents because they do amazing stuff, but I don't know how they work and neither does anyone else.
And here's when, that meme, like the worst person just made a great point. And I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about Goldman Sachs. And Goldman Sachs, I actually find myself agreeing with Goldman Sachs. And how's
that feel?
Horrible. I feel disgusted with myself. But they do have it right here because Goldman Sachs, one of the most analytically ruthless institutions on earth, reviewed 350 risks that AI agents potentially have. And what they said is, we're not ready. Goldman Sachs is saying we're not ready to implement agentic AI. But here's when I say this is not. Because while Goldman Sachs, who has way more resources than us to research on this stuff, is saying we're not using them, Google is saying the following. They plan to expand the shopping feature to include a spending limit. So that means right now the agent, if they want to blow up $1 million, they'll go as far as your credit card allows, right? Google is asking the user to be the beta tester here, right? Hey, want to try some agents? So to me, that's the part. If you remember, I said when we were discussing agents and all of this a few months ago, one of the things I was saying is I'm not really worried about OpenClaw because those that are on OpenClaw or using mobile, they all know what they're doing. At least kind of have an idea. When these agents start popping up on Chrome and Gmail, that's when my mom starts interacting with agents. You're Google. I trust Google. Google is what's been providing me Gmail for the last 20 years. How wouldn't I trust Google? They say, don't be evil.
I'm not really that worried about the enterprise piece of it. I'm worried more about the public piece of it. Because like you said, people don't understand. The agents themselves, they're not evil. They're not trying to do anything bad. If you ask me, they're just kids. They don't understand the world. Can't understand irony or sarcasm. You tell them to do something and they either do or they don't or they do it wrong. And so I think that that is where we are today. It's just that we're maybe giving them the keys to the Suburban and asking them to drive to the store to buy a gallon of milk and they're 6. Maybe not a good idea.
One thing that I want to add on top of that, right? Because one of the things they love to say is use it on your own responsibility, right? And the magic word, before it used to be beta, now they say it's experimental. So what they recommend is that you oversee these agents that are supposed to do things on your behalf so you don't have to worry about them. Google's solution is, keep an eye on them because they might screw up things, So first of all, I'm what's the point of a technology that is supposed to automate things for me so I don't have to worry about them? So then I have to be keeping an eye on the technology. You can't control them. So that's the thing I want everyone to be clear. There's no way, you said it best with the case from Meta, right? I could be staring at my screen right now, an agent in 2 seconds, 9 seconds can create a disaster. And I'll be on Instagram liking dumb things while it's doing so. And another one, which is my Kate Cook recommendation, I'm going to steal it from you, which is train the humans. If you're going to be managing AI agents, you cannot just go there, for the vibes. You need to know what are the possible consequences. You can make an informed decision, right? If you're I don't care, blow up my Gmail, but at least you know what you're getting into, right? We need to educate people, and I don't think go experiment and have fun with it is the right way of educating people.
Yeah, and you and I have dedicated our careers to helping people learn and understand and work with this technology. So, I mean, if anyone has something to say about it, it's you and me, but it's really concerning because the end consumer knows very little about what they're getting into with these agents. I know that because I work with lots of people working inside of companies where they have agentic technology and they don't know very much about it. So imagine that your average Google user off the street, probably less. But Claude Cowork actually asks you to confirm all the actions and connections to the point of it's annoying, where you're like, yes, okay, fine. That little trick is there to prevent you from having a slip of judgment where you have to second guess yourself. And I think it's there as a behavior and training technique that Anthropic is using, and also on their behalf to get people used to working with agents so they keep working with them, right? It's a business growth strategy. So that piece needs to be in play anywhere where these agents are as a double check before you let it do anything, I think, still today. The other thing is, and remember we were talking about the Super Bowl and the different ads that were in there, and Google's ad was about emotion and family, and it was this very over the top, make you cry, pull out your tissues ad, right? I think that they are putting this out there into the world because they know it has an emotional hook for the end user.
Wow. Can it be blue?
Yeah. And my concern is that the emotional hook is going to be very strong. I will tell you why. The first time I hooked up a Claude agent to do an action on my behalf and it did it, I got a chill because it just did it. It's this feeling that doesn't have a name of kind of wonder and excitement and a little fear, but just it takes you over. And the thing is that every advertiser knows an emotional hook will keep people hooked to your product when it connects to their feelings. And so I think this is just another example of Google understanding that and laying bare for the world this very powerful product so that people all feel that sense of wonder and amazement and get hooked.
I've been reading the messages on the community. Folks have been very chatty, which we appreciate. And one of the things that I heard in the comment was they were, okay, what do we do now? So I want to end with a what to do, which is, first of all, remember, every time one of these companies is shipping a new agent, a new product, like Kit was saying, they're all fighting to be the leader right now. So they're going to get very bombastic about what it can do, and they will be a bit more quiet about what it cannot do or what it cannot do with 100% certainty or safety. Take a pause. Know that many of these words are intended. It's marketing. It's good old school marketing, making you feel like you have a problem that this will solve for you.
Yeah.
So pause, educate yourself, follow Slop Word, because every week we bring you a new episode talking about AI news with the receipts so you can learn and make better informed decisions. And speaking of that, Kate, we have the backstory on agents going rogue in this episode about OpenClaw, Moldboot, and all those crazy agents doing wild things on the internet. So if you made it all the way here, why stop the party now? Keep on watching because we have plenty more for you. And as we're seeing episode by episode, it always comes truth. We love you. Goodbye.